Hello everyone, my name is Troy Thompson. You might know me online as Lawson Thompson. And there seems to be a lot of questions about how to get Artemis to listen to the internet so that you can connect remotely. And I thought, what better way than to show some of the troubleshooting tools I use to make sure that a firewall is open correctly. I have here an Artemis server running on my home PC. I can see that this machine's address is 192.168.1.14. So right now this server is listening, waiting for traffic. A handy little way to verify this: if you're running Windows 7, you can fire up the Task Manager, select the Performance tab, and then select Resource Monitor. This opens up kind of a super duper Task Manager. We want the Network tab here. And what you're going to see is a list of everything that's doing anything on the network and where it's talking to. You'll notice that Artemis isn't showing up. That's because it doesn't actually have a live connection yet. It's listening. So if you click here to smash these little windows together, the very bottom window is called Listening Ports. So we open up this window. I'm going to click on the word image to sort these alphabetically, and lo and behold, there's an Artemis.exe listening on port 2010, and according to this, according to the Windows firewall, a connection right now would be allowed and not restricted. So this means I have the Windows firewall set correctly. It means that Artemis is up and running, and that the Windows operating system sees that it has port 2010 open. Now, to check for open ports, I often use a website provided by podcaster Steve Gibson. I go to grc.com, select the Shields Up service, and on this first page, you will see your internet IP address, or in this case you can plainly see I am on a Comcast cable modem in Georgia, as well as my IP address hanging out to the front there. I scroll down this sentence a little bit, and here is my real internet IP address. So if I were going to have someone join my game of Artemis, let's suppose I was talking to them in Skype or texting them or what have you, I would not tell them to enter the server IP address here, 192.168.1.14. I would tell them to enter this address. So I'm going to click Proceed on this window. And on the Shields Up utility, you can have it actually test to see if ports are open. So here in this window, I'm going to simply type in one little number here, 2010. This is the port that Artemis is listening, and click User Specified Custom Port Probe. So now the Shields Up website is trying to see if my port 2010 is open, and according to this, it's stealthed, which is great for protection but terrible if you're trying to actually host a game. So I need to get that port open. I'm going to click on port 2010 to bring up a separate page. You may want to bookmark this, grc.com/port_2010.htm, because it now has a nice blue Probe This Port button. So I can continue testing while I am opening the port on my firewall. I have a Linksys WRT54G router with the Tomato firmware from polarcloud.com. So this may look a lot different than the settings in your router, but here's a category for port forwarding. I'll select that, and at the bottom of this list I want to forward the external port number 2010 to the internal port 2010 at 192.168.1.14. Click Add and Save. have a brief message here saying that some things are being restarted, so give it a few moments. Now, if I go back to the grc.com Shields Up utility and tell it to probe port 2010, suddenly it says that port is open. So right now, at this moment, if someone started the Artemis client, entered that IP address, the Artemis client would come through to this copy of Artemis running on my machine. So I have opened that port, and this is a way to test if the port is opened without having to talk someone through firing up Artemis and pointing and clicking for you. You can actually test it right here on your local machine. Once this page says the port's open, it's open. So that's a way to test to make sure you've got your ports forwarded without having to recruit a friend to assist you with it. This way you can experiment a bit. I hope this is useful for some folks who are setting up Artemis in the internet mode, as it were. Let me know how it goes.